EU4 Mapmodes. Even though they seem to be very easy and a self-explanatory tool to use in EU4, believe me, there are tons of secrets that maybe some of you might not know yet. Today I'm gonna not only show you all these secrets, but also I'll do the whole tier list of EU4 Mapmodes, which hopefully will help you embrace them in EU4 to get your gameplay on a higher level. Oh boy, we are only missing 1.7 thousand subscribers to hit 100k, so guys, remember to subscribe right now, especially if you want to get notified about the future videos. First thing that we should touch is how to even use the map mode, so maybe let me move myself to the other side of the screen. Okay, this is really weird, but as you can see, these are the map modes that I'm using. In general, if you want to go and take a look at the map mode, you just click on it. There are 5 map modes that you have on default, and theoretically 5 places where you can add your own map modes. To add a map mode, you just have to click on an empty space and add additional map mode. But there's also a possibility to add a few map modes on one button, so I'm gonna just right click on it, and you can see, for example, in this place I have choose map mode and unrest map mode. This way you can just play around and have your multiple map modes on one button. That's what I'm using, and that's what I'm recommending. You can adjust these buttons to your type of the gameplay. So just to show you what I do have on the button, there's a choose map mode, unrest map mode, there's state edicts map mode, coalition map mode, autonomy map mode, metropolitan map mode, great projects map mode, institutions, manpower, and development, trade goods, and simple terrain. I should probably update it for a few more, but I keep forgetting about that. Now, as there are multiple map modes, more than multiple map modes that we have available in EU4, I decided to tier them for you, so be able to understand what map modes should be the most important, and of course all of them will be situational, and I split them to different tiers. Tier S is pretty much map modes that you should use always. Tier A are the map modes that you should rather use in most of the cases, but not as often as Tier S. Tier B are map modes that are sometimes but useful. Tier C are map modes that you use very rarely and in a very situational positions, while Tier D are the map modes that I don't even remember the names of. Just joking, they're just useless. Now what I want to do, I will not go through all of the map modes for you, I will go through the key map modes and I will explain to you why they're important and how to read these map modes, because some of them might be hard to read on the first sight. Obviously the first map mode is the political one. It's just the map mode that you are spending 95% of your time because you are just playing on this map mode. I don't think it requires any further comments. Diplomatic map mode is also very important. It's allowing you to check a lot of things. Not only versus whom you're at war with, like right now I am. Not only alliances, claims and cores of different nations, but also if you click on yourself, you can see what provinces you are currently coring. This is this color. What provinces are fully cored by you. For example, these provinces that I took over from vassal, or these provinces that I fully stated myself. What nations are guaranteed, like by this purple color over here, or even what nations are your vassals or tributaries. So this is gonna be the key map mode not only for the diplomatic purposes, but also to plan your future expansion, to plan what to claim, and how to manage even your country internally. Another map mode is responsible for the coalitions. This map mode was recently changed and there are a lot of colors on it instead of just different alterations of red. So let me explain what they mean. Blue is obviously the nation that you are checking. If the AE is green, different levels of green like in this case, it means that you have some AE. The more green, the more expansion you have, and it's gonna increase the green level up to 50 AE. For example, Hormuz is having 30 of it. When the nation is having stripes, like for example Anizach or Timurids, it means that you have a truce. So when I hover my mouse on them, I'll see that my truce with the Timurids is ending in 1571. If the nation is yellow, it means that you have enough AE for this nation to join AE, but the opinion of you is positive, like in this case it's 23. Because if the opinion is positive, it means the nation cannot join the coalition against you. If the color is orange, like Ming, it means that nation has enough of AE to join a coalition and can join the coalition at any moment. And then finally, if the color would be completely red, it means the nation is in the coalition against you. Truces map mode, I've put it as an important one as S tier, but since truces are already visible in AE map mode, this map mode is not as important as it was in the past. Of course, it's showing truces, like for example for the Timurids or Mahra, but one important thing that it has on top what we could see on the coalition map mode are the green stripes that are telling us that we have a claim on the certain nation. And this map mode also received some changes recently. First of all, if it's just green, you can see there is no unrest in the province, and when you hover over the province, you're getting the whole statistics of how it is looking. If the color is yellow, it means there is unrest, but the unrest is low enough for you to stop it from happening with some troops. If the color is orange, like in this case, it means it's over 5, so here is for example 10. And the deeper color coming to red, the more unrest you're having. For example, here we are having already 13 of it. And finally, if you see stripes on a province, it means that there's still separatists on it. So for example, in this case, there's 14 separatists, or when you go to this province, there is 3 separatists on the province, while on all the other provinces, there's no separatists anymore. Autonomy map mode is very helpful to go and find which provinces you have actually stated, or which provinces you should decrease your autonomy in to make it more efficient. So green, of course, it's a 0 autonomy. The more orange and yellow it is, the more autonomy there is. And finally, close to red, it's going to be 90 or even 100 of autonomy. Finally, the last map mode in S tier is the trade map mode. Trade map mode is pretty much allowing you to manage your whole trade. You can see we are seeing the different trade nodes, you are seeing the trade centers and the level, how much value there is in a node, how much trade power we are having, what is the percentage share of the node that we are having, and how much money we are earning from it. So for example, here's 19 that we are earning, here's 19 that we are earning, and below that you even see how many ships we are using to protect the trade. So all of the information is in one place. And then if you want to manage this trade, I can just click on a node, I can decide to either transfer trade power and collect, or maybe recall the merchant. And we can also do different trading policies inside it. So this map mode is having tons of the things that are hidden. You just need to understand what number means what. Once you do that, you're gonna embrace the trading power. That will be all for the S tier, the map modes that are always useful in 99% of the cases. Let's move to A tier, so the map modes that are still very important and very often used, just not as often as the S tier. First one is the State Edicts. State Edicts map mode is gonna allow you to go and check where you actually activated the State Edicts and what type of the State Edicts. For example, the green one is the for defensiveness, yellow is the def cost, brown is gonna be the manpower. This is very useful, especially if you're using a lot of State Edicts. Then after some time, you might really get lost of what is where. State Edicts map mode will allow you to just go to the state and either turn off the edict or change it to something else. Simple terrain map mode is probably one of the most underrated map modes by single player players, and it might seem like nothing is visible here, right? But in fact, everything is visible over here. You don't only see what type of terrain is there. For example, this is grasslands, this is farmlands, this is hills, so I can decide what type of the battle you're gonna take before you actually attack. This is obviously mountains. And second of all, you see all the crossings. This is the thing that I did not know for a few years, because usually what I was doing when looking for crossing, I was going to a province, looking here, okay, so there's crossing between Sofia and Nikopol, okay, so I cannot go over here. But in fact, you see all the crossings as blue on this map mode, so you can see it far clearer on the simple terrain. Accepted cultures map mode. It's important, but not everyone really cares about the cultures. This map mode is making a really easy understanding. Red means not accepted. Green means accepted. Light green means your main culture. Then if you get something that is orange, it means that is in your culture group, but it's not accepted yet. Trade goods map mode might be also useful, but not for all of the players. It's pretty much showing you what trade good is in what province. So you can decide by this what you want to take in a peace deal, where you want to build the manufactory, where is the gold mine that you're looking for, or where is gonna be the coal, because you can see these stripes, this is telling me where the coal is gonna be. What is interesting, if I click on a certain trade good, for example gold, I will see all the other gold mines that are available on the map mode. So for example, I can see there's plenty of chance for the gold mines in the South America. Technology map mode is very easy. The more green, the better tax you are having. So for example, I'm orange, this guy that is red and there's more behind, and this is very useful map mode where you for example want to steal technologies from someone through the spy network. So for example, if I was to steal something right now, I would build spy network on Brittany and Brunswick. Development map mode. It's a good map mode when you want to just, get yourself good, oh, I have this province so much, or you're looking at highly developed province to conquer, or highly developed province where you want to build something. This map mode will be very useful, but honestly, I'm usually using it for pleasure to see how much development I already have. This little book is the institution map mode. If it's green, it means that you are having the current institution, but for example, you can see the latest institution is spreading over here. If it's yellow, it means there's 2 institutions that are still missing. If it's getting into brown, it means there are 3 institutions missing, and if it is red, it would mean that there are 4 institutions missing in a nation, like for example in this beauty over here. So this way you can decide what provinces you want to conquer to get the institution, or from what nation you're gonna get the institution spreading to you, so you can for example improve your event to get it spread, or from which provinces to which provinces the institution is spreading within your country, so you can for example get the state edicts. Religious map mode. This is obvious, you need to know like where are what religions, for example what provinces you want to convert based on the provinces, what you want to conquer, what you don't want to conquer, or to decide what nations you're gonna attack, what provinces, so you're gonna decide, okay, this nation is completely different religion and nobody cares about it, let's go and conquer that, because that's gonna be no aggressive expansion. You can also see the Protestant Reformation centers as well as the cardinals on this map mode, and if you're talking about the Muslim nations, you can see the religious school on it. So in general, how to interpret that? If it's just one color, it means that province is carrying the state religion. If there are stripes, it means that there is one religion, in this case it's Sunni, and the state religion is different, so it's Catholic. So in general, this beautiful color is for the emperor, green one is for the provinces that are part of the empire. If it's having stripes, it means it's part of the empire but held by someone that is not in the empire. This color of the brown is for the electors, and finally the blue is for the free cities. The last one in 8 here is the forts map mode. Oh my god, so many forts! Yeah, this is this patch in a nutshell. Forts map mode is helping us to understand what are the zones of control. You can see the green stripes are the zones of control of the forts, what is the level of the fort, and if the nation is paying for the fort or not, so you can decide to attack them if that's not happening. B tier are more or less useful map modes, but very situational and useful more rarely than an A tier. Monuments map mode is obviously telling us where the monuments and the level of them, so you can just click and see, okay, here's the monument, okay, that's Hagia Sophia and the Sultan Ahmed Mosque. Very straightforward. Colonial range is not only useful when you're colonizing, but it's also useful when you want to core a province, because for example, if I hover over here, I see what is the effective distance and what is my colonial range. If the effective distance is higher than my colonial range, I cannot core this province. So if I go for example to this provinces, still too far away. If I go to this provinces, see, for example here I could core the province, but if I'm already here, this is too far away for us. So it works same for the colonization and coring of the provinces. I've put a player's map mode in this tier because I just love looking at it. And the good borders, both in single player and multiplayer. Manpower map mode is also mostly to understand where your manpower is coming from. Usually just developed provinces and part of your states. And honestly, I always also looking mostly for the pleasure, especially in the multiplayer where everything is green. Metropolitans map mode is only of course when you're playing the Orthodox. That's why it's only B tier, so you can decide what metropolitans are already done, what could be done in the future, so it's red and it needs more development of the culture changes, or if it's green, it means that you can add a province to a metropolis. This little thingy here are the colonial and trade companies regions. And this might be very useful to decide, okay, I need more provinces in this colonial region to create a colony, or this is the trade company that I want to add the provinces to. And you can see that when you're adding a province to a trade company, like in this case, for example, Venetian ones or the Anatolians, it's changing the normal color, the Anatolian, for example, green, to your own nation color to let you know, okay, this province is in your trade company. C tier and D tier, I will not go through this in the video to not make it too long, but in general, in the C tier, as mentioned, Those are very situational map modes that you use very rarely. For example, the opinion map mode, or the revolution map mode when you have the revolution, or dynastic map mode when you want to see if any nation is having your dynasty, or maybe the military access to see where the military access in the nation is having and find the D tier. You barely ever use this. Sometimes you do, but not really. So guys, I think this will be all for this video. I hope that you enjoyed this and I told you at least one thing that you didn't know about one of the map modes. If I managed to do so, let me know in comments what was that. And of course, if you enjoyed this video, remember to leave a like on it and subscribe to the channel to get notified about the future videos, especially that we're about to hit 100,000 subscribers very soon. Bye!